sat. Hello YouTube, that Brady chick here. It's been a minute. I know I say this every time, but like this time it really has been a minute. So yeah, let's just get right into it. My travel nurse experience. Let's do a deep dive, shall we? All right, so where do I begin? So the goal was always travel nursing. I personally love to travel. It would get to the point where I was going on vacation literally once a month, every single month, working as a registered nurse at my staff job. So at some point I was like, you know what? I gotta just make a career out of this. Clearly I have the travel bug. Clearly I can't shake it. Let's just combine the two. Travel nursing. And here we are. Side note, I'm getting over a cold, so don't mind my congested voice. Thanks. So, starting in September of 2024, that's when I really got my feet wet in terms of the travel nursing industry. The goal was always to travel to the States and work at hospitals there, but I was just really afraid of the politics there. It was just so much tension going on at the time. I just felt like the States could wait for now, you know? Let me get my feet wet within a country that I'm familiar with first, and then we'll go over there, okay? So having said that, I did start my travel nursing journey in British Columbia, BC.
Girl, you have no idea how amazing life is about to get for you. Stay focused and trust the process.
Specifically in Victoria. It was only a 6-week contract on purpose because I didn't want to commit to a whole 13 weeks in Canada. Like, I knew that the majority of my contracts would lie in the States, so I was like, let me just get my feet wet a little bit in Canada and then see where we go from there. People in British Columbia have manners. They will say hi to you when you pass by them on the streets. As much as I love Toronto, we just don't do that here. It's just the culture. Like, we mind our business a lot. We just tend to our own. When you go outside of Toronto, it's very different. Very different. That was a pretty okay experience. I think the only thing I didn't like about BC were the spiders. They were just huge, okay? Terrifying. One of them ended up on my pillow one time and I couldn't even sleep after that. Mind you, I just had a night shift and I couldn't sleep. That's how bad it was. After BC, I was like, okay, no more playing games. Now it's time for those American contracts and it's time to get paid in USD, okay? That's when I took the leap and I took on my very first American contract in Washington State, not DC. Everyone seems to think I went to DC because that's the only Washington we know of. Okay, I was, a year ago I thought Washington State and Washington DC were the same thing as well. Sue me. Started in Washington for my very first American contract and it went pretty well for the most part. It was a 48-hour contract. In nursing terms, pretty much means 4 shifts per week, every week. Each shift is 12 hours, mind you. So 48 hours every week is kind of tough, but you would do it too for a check. You would do it too, okay? Because they were paying me real nice in Washington, I can't lie to you. And it was all USD as well. So when you convert that to Canadian, you're making even more, at least 1.5 times more. So per week, yeah, I'm gonna take that. I was there for a bit. My apartment was gorgeous. I loved my living space. It was a little studio I had. It was great. The building was gorgeous. It was modern. It was newly built. It was specifically made for healthcare workers, which I loved because it just catered to my aesthetic so bad. Washington itself was a little sketchy in some areas. I was at least in a sketchy area. I forgot to record this part yesterday. What I'm about to explain is just alleged news that was relayed to me while I was at work. So a charge nurse actually told me this. In that same sketchy area I was living in, just down the road at a 7-Eleven, one of our patients' family members was murdered. Apparently a homeless man was trying to beg this person for money. The patient's husband said no, and the man stabbed him to death. Like I said, this is all alleged information. I never saw anything on the news. Granted, I don't really keep up with the news anyway. This is apparently what happened in my area down in Washington. So hence the sketchiness, okay? I met a few friends from Canada down there, which I didn't expect to run into. And one of them is definitely gonna be a lifelong friend. Shout out to you, Razia, okay? That part was all fine and dandy. The facility was not exactly as expected because going in, I didn't think I would end up on a rehab unit. I've never been a rehab nurse before. My background is telemetry / med surge, and I thought I was taking on a med surge contract. Lo and behold, it was a rehab contract, which I was like, okay, it is what it is. This is going to be a little bit different than what I'm used to, but let's just do it. I mean, I'm here. I signed the contract. I made a commitment. let's just do it. Pretty much for the first 6 weeks, it was just me getting used to the documentation system, the workplace environment, the American accent in general. Y'all do have an accent, don't come for me, you do. And yeah, just like American nursing versus Canadian nursing, like there's so many minute differences, but they are definitely there. Personally, the reason I won't say the name of the facility or even the name of the city is because my experience there didn't happen to be a great one. But despite all the friends that I made, despite my living accommodations, despite all the sweet patients that I built such great rapport with, here's what happened. I'm gonna just be real. There was one night where I pulled a move that I would not normally pull as a nurse. I've never pulled this move before. And the move in question was I literally just asked for my assignment back. I'll just do a quick clarification for the non-nursing viewers out there. Your assignment is pretty much the patients that they give you for that shift. For example, I have room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 tonight. Tomorrow night, I have room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 again. So they gave me back my previous assignment, which is room 1 to 6. But on the third night, I had room 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. So 7 was the unfamiliar patient. Normally, this is no big deal to me. I have all my 5 familiar patients plus 1 unfamiliar one. It's really no big deal. But because I listened to some advice given to me the night before, which was, hey, you should try to ask for your patient assignment back tomorrow because it seems like you know all your 6 patients very, very well. Like you should just continue on with that tomorrow since it'll be your 4th shift. Mind you, this was advice given to me by a charge nurse. So I was like, oh yeah, sure, let me try that tomorrow. Tomorrow night comes, I get that unfamiliar patient and I ask the charge nurse who's then working that day, a different one than the night before, mind you, I was like, hey, is it okay if I get my patients back from the previous night? And he goes, no, you're gonna take the assignment and you're gonna like it. I don't like to be disrespected. I just don't. Long story short, I asked to have a chat with him, and when I did that, he acted like I was attacking him. Mind you, I'm black, he is not. Let's just leave it at that. I was watching my words. Every single thing that I said in that conversation, I made sure to maintain a professional ground. Pretty much the gist of the conversation was I was trying to express how this comment made me feel. This unit tries to push anti-bullying so much and treating each other with respect, but truthfully, I didn't feel respected in that moment. I felt like you were almost talking down to me, and I really didn't appreciate that. I'm okay to take the assignment, but at the same time, I want to be respected. He felt attacked. Long story short, he felt attacked, and because he felt so attacked, he decided to catalyze the decision. So 2 nights later, when I was off, I got a random call in the middle of my nap. Unfortunately, I woke up and I answered, and it was my agency, not even the facility, but my agency telling me that, hey, so the facility no longer wants to work with you. They have canceled your contract. And that was it. I was just left to my own questions. I was left to my own thoughts. There was no opportunity to talk this out, if you will, with the facility. Pretty much they didn't give me a chance. They just said, hey, sayonara, you're done. You're done. You're done. Like that was it. Obviously it was really upsetting because first of all, there's still rent to pay. And second, the contract's not fully done. Like I'm only 6-7 weeks in. Now you're telling me it's canceled? I had about 7 weeks left in that contract. That's income that I'm now losing because I was canceled abruptly at that. Yeah, I was freaking out a little bit and I'm just like, bro, like what's my next move? Finding another contract out in the blue, it's not as easy as you might think. Now I have to go and invest in another license in another part of America and then hope that one of the hospitals there are short-staffed enough to need a travel nurse and to accept me out of all people, out of all applicants to work for their hospital. So yes, it was a very stressful time, but knowing my God, despite all of what I just said and how hard it might have seemed, I was able to get accepted to a travel nurse contract of my dream destination, mind you, within the next week. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord. Listen, if you don't believe in God, I always say this, if you don't believe in God, you better start. Okay, because he be moving mountains. I was in such a huge predicament with that whole cancellation of my Washington contract. I don't even want to think about that anymore. To be honest, this is the last time I even want to bring it up. It was such a distasteful experience, the way that I got canceled, because I'm so sorry, but had any of my coworkers who were non-Black been in the same situation as I was in terms of trying to express how I felt about a comment that a higher up made towards me, I'm pretty sure they would have not been dealt the same outcome that I received in terms of being canceled. It probably would have just been a conversation and then a pat on the shoulder. That would have been it. But because I'm Black and I was one of the only Black nurses there, yeah, you do the math. Thank you. So yeah, my God was in control, let me tell you, because he got me accepted to a contract in Hawaii. I was supposed to start maybe 2-3 weeks after getting accepted. So pretty much that gave me a chance to get back home, settle up my Washington expenses, find a new place in Hawaii, and get all my compliance requirements done, like in terms of blood work, drug tests, all that stuff. You know, those requirements that you have to fulfill before starting a new contract. Get all of that done and out of the way before I started in Hawaii by the end of that month. I was so grateful. I was like, this can't be anything but God. Like, God opened the door for me expeditiously too, because I wasn't even trying to start in Hawaii until April. But God opened that door in February for me because he canceled my contract in Washington in February, and then I was in Hawaii by the end of the month in February. Like, it's so crazy. It's so crazy how everything just fell into place, you know? Obviously, I did go through some obstacles in Hawaii, which I'll get into. Actually, let's get into that now. We're on our way to Hawaii, and I was dealing with some drama on the way there. I don't even know why I even entertained that drama, to be honest, because I should have just blocked that person and just left it alone. But knowing me, knowing how I have a heart, I don't like to block people unless they really, really deserve it and show some form of insanity, which that person did. So blocked. Bye. The part about the drama from back home, it was just weird because it's like, this is a person I used to consider my friend, and somebody messaged me out of the blue talking crazy about this former friend that I used to have. If it were me, I would have wanted to know about it. Maybe I shouldn't want to know about it, but I would have personally wanted to know about it if someone was talking crazy about me. So having that mindset, I was like, okay, let me just show this person what this other person was saying about them because they were talking crazy. So I go and do that, and my former friend goes and turns the whole situation around on me and makes me feel like I was the one who did it. Like I was the one who said those crazy things when really it was the person who texted me out of the blue saying those crazy things about you. Like, that's between you and them. I'm just here telling you like this was said about you. Anyway, I washed my hands in that situation. There was clearly nothing I could do right, because I'm damned if I do, damned if I don't. It became a little too insane. Like, they showed me their true colors that unfortunately all blasted out into this rainbow that I just never asked for. I don't know. Then they started getting my partner involved and my family involved. Like, you don't even know these people and you're coming at them? Like, it was weird. You're insane. Please stay away. On top of that, this person was calling down my phone at all hours of the morning while I was down in Hawaii. And to be honest, it happened right after I got scammed too, so I couldn't even focus on what this person was saying. So I was really just talking out of my behind. A lot of the things I was saying probably wasn't even making any sense. I couldn't focus on the situation. Like, I was dealing with so much as it was, so this had nothing to do with me at that point. But anyway, it was just a really crazy situation. And on top of that, they told me, you know what? I'm gonna go and spread all these rumors about you and tell people about you, and they have their opinions about, like, okay, go ahead. If that'll make you feel better, please, but stay away. You're weird. So that's why I was like, yeah, blocked. So yes, I found a place on Furnish Finder, and I put place in quotation marks because y'all know I was scammed. The flight from YYZ to Hawaii is about 17 hours long. I took this 17-hour long flight, got to Hawaii. The sun went down by the time I reached my apartment complex, which was real. Like, the address was real. It was a strip of buildings in one lot. But the unit number that the scammer gave me, which was unit 2002, I'll never forget it, did not exist. So I'm over there with my two 50-pound suitcases, my carry-on bag, my nurse bag, and I'm like struggling up the stairs trying to find unit 2002. And as I was doing this, by the way, I didn't know a lot of Black people were in Hawaii, and I was very, very pleased to see the amount that were, because where did y'all come from? Like, I'm so pleased. I was so comfortable. This one Black girl that happened to actually live at the complex, she saw me struggling. She actually told me that, like, it reminded her of her on her first day at that complex when she was also struggling with her luggages and trying to find her unit. So she was like, I just saw you in me and I wanted to help you immediately. So that's why I came up to you and I was like, hey girl, do you need help? What are you looking for? Da da da. So yes, I was like, yes, I definitely need your help, girl. Please come and find this unit with me. And she helped me search all night for that unit 2002 that did not exist. So eventually we realized that, yeah, this might be a scam, and we ended up calling the cops. I've never been in a situation like that before. I definitely prefer not to involve the cops in any situation, but in this case, she suggested it. I was in a place that I was not familiar with at all. I've never been to Hawaii until now. So yeah, I'm gonna go with what the local says and just get the cops involved. I filed a police report, said and done. Nothing really resulted from it. God bless them though, because they seemed like they really wanted to help. But yeah, at the end of the day, the scammer took my money. I literally just paid 3 months worth of rent before even touching down in Hawaii. Yes, I know it was stupid. I know, but I was desperate, okay? Coming from that whole Washington situation, I was just desperate to get out of there and move on to a different contract. Spare me. I lost 3 months worth of money on an apartment that did not exist. So the same girl, let's call her Angel, after the police left, she was like, hey, so you're gonna need a roof over your head tonight because clearly you have no place to go. I'm gonna go ahead and take you down to my friend's house. He lives in a place called HPP, which is Hawaiian Paradise Park. I'm very familiar with it now. And yeah, we'll just have you live with him until you get settled up and find your own spot. I've never been to Hawaii before. I don't know anybody in Hawaii either. I'm being driven to a stranger's house, let alone a man's house, in another stranger's car whom I just met not even 30 minutes before. Listen, I have good survival instincts, but in that moment I was really questioning them because what was I really doing with my life? But I also had no choice. My hands were literally tied. They were tied because I didn't have any place to go, and she was offering me a place for free that night. Well, not really for free, because I wasn't gonna stay there for free for sure. That's not something that could have sat right with me, despite what those people might have thought. Anyway, yeah, I was desperate. I needed a place to stay. She found a place to stay for me. So we got to her friend's place. I'm there trying to hold back my tears because this is like such a crazy situation. How did I end up here? How? Long story short, I pretty much lived with that person for a couple days until I found a place of my own. The place that I found was a place of my own per se, but the peace of mind, I didn't get it, if that makes sense. A new place. It was a very unique living situation, to say the least, because the landlord was living with us. She was living on site in the same house, just in a different bedroom. The most I've done was live in someone's basement, which happened in BC, while they were living upstairs, but that was like as far as it got. She was a really nice lady. She has a very sweet voice, seems to be very kind-hearted, and her place was very clean for what it was. I just didn't agree with some of her cleaning styles, but again, it's not my house. It's not for me to judge. With it being a unique situation, she definitely wanted us to live by her rules, which was fair because we're living in her house. She was very OCD. So if you moved a piece of napkin like this, she would pretty much go behind you and put it back where it was supposed to be and be like, oh sweetie, just remember you have to put the napkin to the right side so that it's facing the sun and so that the geckos don't get in and so da. And it's like, okay. I really don't mind following people's rules. I grew up in a Caribbean household. Rules are what I know. Her rules were just a little bit over the top. For example, we were only allowed to use the laundry once a week, which was fine for me. I had a lot of clothes there, like, I'm fine with that. We were not allowed to use the TV, ever. And her reasoning behind that was because a lot of the tenants that she gets are night shift nurses, but it's also like night shift nurses do want to watch TV at some point too. In terms of her plates, she wants all her dishes to be washed after every single use, which is fine, but then she washes them with dirty rags. And she wanted us to wash them with her dirty rags as well. And that I was like, I can't get behind because me and my roommate, which was one of the travel nurses I met down there in Hawaii, he went and bought us some new sponges and we just used them to wash the dishes because as we should. Don't you want your dishes to be clean when you're using them? I don't understand. So that was a little weird to me. We weren't allowed to eat on the table without placemats down first, which was fine. Oh, we had to keep all windows open at all times. Mind you, there's geckos fighting for their life trying to get into the house, not out. into the house, okay? Mind you, I'm a city girl. We don't do geckos, all right? So you can imagine when I see geckos literally behind me crawling all over the wall and up on the ceiling. Yeah, I freaked out a lot. She would laugh at me every time I did, and I'm just like, bro, like, I'm from the city. We don't have geckos. So yeah, geckos are real creepy to me, and I really want us to close the windows because that's their only way in, because our windows are kept open. Please close them, please? And she was like, no, honey, I just don't want mold. That drove me crazy. My landlord didn't have the best relationship with her family, and I say this because she was very open about it. She let all of us know, even though we were strangers to her and strangers to that situation. She's gonna say what she has told everybody, and honestly, she would tell you too if she knew you. Like, she doesn't have a great relationship with her family. There's some estrangement involved. I feel like this is why she behaved the way she did, because there were times when she would then start to label us as her family members. Like, she would pretty much call me the kid of the house because I was the youngest one there. And then she would call my roommate her brother. She'd be like, yeah, that's my brother, that's my brother. Or sometimes, oh, that's my son, he's like my son. It was a little weird. It was, because, like, okay, that's fine, you know, whatever. But then it got to the point where she would say, okay, I love you, bye, before she leaves the house. And it was like, ma'am, we just met. We just met, like, maybe a month or two ago. Not even. You're not my mom. You're not my mom. But it's giving you want to be my mom. But I felt bad for her, so it's like I never said anything. Like, I felt like, okay, she's trying to kind of fill in the void that her daughter left because her daughter is estranged from her. I just let her have it. Yeah, love you too, landlord. Damn. Then came the night that I chose to move out. The whole time I was living with her, I was literally looking online every single day searching for a place to stay because I couldn't do it. I really couldn't do it anymore. It was a weird living situation. The moment that I got something else secured, which was a little studio apartment where I'd be living on my own, thankfully, with a pool, a gym, a library, a sauna, a laundry room, all the amenities pretty much my ideal setting. It just so happened that it was only available in May. So May comes around and I'm getting ready to move out. When I first moved into the house, you and I actually had an agreement where she said I would only have to pay $50. I remember that day I sent her $50 because I was getting ready to leave. I just wanted to get out. Then as I'm packing to go, she comes to my room and she's like, hey sweetie, so did you want me to put your suitcases in the other room? Because I just like to have things out of the way. Just like, I hate the mess. Mind you, I'm moving out not even 24 hours from now. And I don't live a messy lifestyle, but I'm gonna need my suitcases adjacent to my bed and adjacent to my clothes because they're all going in there. Like, what? Why would I want to move my suitcases away when I'm packing to leave? I don't understand the logic. I was like, no, landlord, I would rather have my suitcases here so that I could pack, get ready to go because I'm leaving soon. And she goes, okay, well, yeah, I received your cleaning fee, but I need more, honey. I need more. I was like, what do you mean you need more? Yeah, just send me like $90 more. I was like, 90? Yeah, just 90, because, you know, remember the cleaning fee is actually this much, and I was like, landlord, we literally had the agreement earlier where you said I only had to pay 50 because you knew my situation with the scamming. And she was like, I don't remember saying that, so yeah, just send me 90. So I'm just like, okay. Alrighty, okay, show's over. Yeah, no, I'm not gonna get played by you anymore because this is too much at this point. I had 2 roommates at the time. I was upset and they saw it on my face. All 2 of them saw it on my face. And they were like, okay, Jay, let's go into the back room and let's talk about it because clearly she said something to upset you. We go into the back room and I tell them what happened and how she's trying to like gyp me of extra money when literally that wasn't part of the agreement. We literally had the agreement before I moved in that she would charge me only partial cleaning fee. And on top of that, the room wasn't really clean. It was not clean. I've seen this lady kill a gecko with her bare hands and then touch my sheet with that same hand. I'm sorry, what? What's the cleaning fee for? I told them all that and they were just like, honestly, Jay, we hate to see you upset. Let's just go over to whoever's house. All we know is you can't stay here today. Like, let's just leave. So luckily we had our other 2 girls, Acacia and Brooke, who were ready and willing to accept us with open arms that night and let us stay the night with them. Because I just could not stay another night in that house. I was over it and I just did not want to be around her. When I'm done, I'm done. I'm sorry. But yeah, that night I go back and I try to secretly and discreetly pack my stuff away to, you know, head over to my girl's house. And then of course landlord overhears me and she's like, "Are you leaving so soon?" I was like, "Yes, landlord, I'm going." She's like, "Well, before you go, here's a little booklet about steps to Christ, walking towards Jesus and all that stuff." Honestly, it was kind of wholesome. I took the book. I still have the book with me. It kind of softened my mood a little bit in that moment too, because Jesus wouldn't want me to be that angry. So yeah, I was like, you know what? Let me just relax a little bit because I'm not that mad. I just know I can't stay here for another night. Oh yeah, sorry, I left that part out. She was gonna charge me if I stayed that extra night. It wasn't even an extra night. It was part of my lease. But she wanted to charge me extra to try to justify the whole cleaning fee situation. Honestly, it was too much. Yeah, I'm not staying this night. I'm going to my friend's house. I can't afford it. So she asked me a personal question next. Mind you, this is amongst many personal questions she's asked me over the course of living with her, okay? Another reason why I felt the need to leave that place. She's like, "So how much is your rent at your new place?" You know what? My boyfriend was telling me too. He's like, "Listen, you don't have to answer her questions, eh? Especially if she goes into those personal questions like that. You don't have to answer them." But me being me, and feeling like I was backed into a corner, of course I answered the question. Like, "Well, my rent is about like 1600 something." And she's like, "Ooh, that's really expensive. And I know you said you don't really have the money to afford staying with me an extra night. So I'm just wondering how you'll be able to afford that." Ma'am, that's none of your business. That is none of your business. I feel like that was such a backhanded statement to make. Just the little snarky comments she would make. It's so hard to catch them sometimes because her voice was so sweet. It's almost like it would disguise it as like a comment of genuine care and concern for your well-being when really it wasn't. It was literally just her trying to make a backhanded comment. You shouldn't even be asking a question like that. You should literally just be saying, "Okay, thank you for staying with me the duration that you did. Best of luck to you. Goodbye." That's it. But no, you want to act like I'm breaking apart the family. A family that I never created because I'm not delusional. Damn. Alright guys, ooh, I'm reliving some of these things all over again. That's what I mean when I say I lived a completely different life in Hawaii, okay? It wasn't just about working at the hospital. There was so much that happened outside the hospital, okay? Complete 360, like it was crazy, the life I lived down there. So we stay at Brooke and Acacia's house, and the next day it's time to move into the new place. So my friends were there to help me bring my heavy luggage up, my shoes, everything to my new apartment, to help me get settled in. Beautiful, beautiful deck. It's a pool literally overlooking the ocean. So cool. It's so, so nice. I'll probably insert some clips if I can. I mean, I've had such a great experience there. Like the housing thing was crazy. Just start to finish, living with a stranger who was also a man, having to settle into my unique landlord's space and pretty much becoming her daughter. In the meantime, finally settling into my new place by myself, having peace of mind. Having to pay a little bit more for peace of mind, but still, peace of mind nonetheless. Priceless. In terms of the hospital, it was great. Like, I have no complaints. Management, literally uniform throughout. She was so nice over the phone when I first did my phone call interview with her back in February when they hired me, and still continue to be sweet in person. Maintain that same energy throughout. I love that lady to death, okay? I wish I could say her name, but you already know who you are, okay? Love you, girl. Coworkers, bomb. Like, I love them. They're so nice, so accommodating, so helpful. Only ran into one bad apple, but she barely works there anyway. That's fine. Love you too, sometimes. Patients were so cute, most of them. The hospital was just nice and modern. Like, I love that it was kind of similar to my old staff hospital's decor. Of course, this hospital is a lot smaller because it only has 3 floors compared to my previous staff hospital, which had like 13 floors. Newly renovated, it's clean, spacious enough. It's not rehab nursing, so it's not completely 360 double whammy. It's a med surge floor, more so surgical. For the most part, it's pretty much uniform to what I've been doing this entire time. I got a lot of references from there, got at least 4 because they all enjoyed working with me. I enjoyed working with them. This is literally just a few weeks of vacation per se, staycation. So I'm back home in Toronto, just for now, and then I'll be back in Hawaii before fall starts. That was pretty much my whole travel nurse experience so far. Oh, mind you, my longest contract to date, my Hawaii contract. That one lasted 5 months since I extended not once, but twice while I was in Hawaii. Because for those non-nurses out there, most travel nurse contracts last 13 weeks long, which is about 3 months. That's a standard length of a contract. I was living in Hawaii for almost half a year pretty much, which was amazing, and I'll be going back for a couple more months. So yeah, living in Hawaii is really cool. The people are great. They are not racist, which I love. That's definitely a bonus. It's just a vibe. Oh yeah, how could I forget? I was involved in a whole tsunami warning. I don't even know how I didn't remember this yesterday. I'm sure all of y'all have heard about the tsunami alerts that were going on in Hawaii not too long ago. Yeah, so I was actively involved in that because I happened to be right on the red zone. Red zone is pretty much the area that is 99.9% certain to get hit by a potential tsunami. And this is because my building was right on the ocean. Clearly, tsunami comes from water, so yeah, I was right there in the target zone. I was receiving alerts literally every hour on the hour, even half hourly at one point, telling me that I need to evacuate my building at a certain time, otherwise I could get hit. I'm a city girl, okay? We obviously don't experience tsunamis. This is not a threat to a city like Toronto. I'm over there stuck in Hawaii. My flight is scheduled for the next day because I'm planning to come back home. Casually packing my bag all day long until maybe 3-4 p.m. Hawaii time when I start receiving these alerts telling me I need to evacuate my building all of a sudden because a tsunami is on its way? Like, excuse me? I'm not even done packing yet, but now I have to speed through everything, make sure I got everything packed, because who knows, maybe by the next morning I won't have a building to go back to, which means I won't have luggage to go back to if I leave it here. Getting my scrubs on because on top of everything, I had a shift scheduled that night. Yeah, I had a night shift the night of the tsunami warning. That's fine though. Everything ready to go. Parents are calling me. They're like, hey, we just heard about the tsunami warning. Are you okay? I'm just like, no, I'm not okay because I got a speed pack now and make sure I get the hell out of here because apparently the tsunami is coming in less than 2 hours. So I can't be on the phone respectfully right now. We're gonna have to talk later if there is a later, God forbid. So I go ahead and I order my Uber and tell me how the Ubers are getting canceled. Okay. Meanwhile, I'm still getting alerts about the tsunami that is incoming. So obviously the more alerts I get, the more frantic I become. And the fact that the Ubers are canceling means that I only have limited ways out of the red zone at this point. That tsunami is coming. No matter whether or not the Ubers are available, that tsunami is on its way. Okay? He ain't need no passport. All right? Whoa. I'm just reliving everything. It was so stressful. Outside my building with my 250-pound luggages and my nurse bag in my other hand, texting my friends, and I'm just like, listen, the Ubers are getting canceled. Can you guys pick me up? And they're like, yeah, for sure, we can come get you. Lo and behold, they're blocking off the roads leading to my house. So nobody can get in and barely anyone can get out for that matter. So it's like, that really made me question things because I'm just like, how do you expect people in the red zone to evacuate if you're not even letting people come in or out? I don't understand that. But anyways, pretty much if you had a car of your own, you can leave within good reason according to the cops. Ubers were getting canceled, friends couldn't come get me, my hands were tied. Again, at the start of my Hawaii contract, my hands were tied, and at the end of my Hawaii contract, my hands are tied. This is just becoming a pattern now. Saw a neighbor running to her car, big old Jeep, perfect for the size of my luggages to fit into. And I'm over there trying to wave her down like, hey, please give me a ride. I really need to go. Like, I have a shift tonight. She's inside her car. Windows are tinted. Either she didn't see me waving or she just chose to ignore me. Because the minute I ran down the ramp to try to get closer to her to get her attention, she was gone. At that point, I'm panicking. I'm just like, bro, I have no way out of this situation. I don't have a car of my own. There's no way I can walk into the streets with my heavy luggages. Tsunami is on its way. I'm about to pee my pants. What's going on right now? Like I said, my God is always on time because who does he call? He calls another neighbor whom I happened to meet just the week before and get acquainted to, so much so to the point where when that neighbor showed up, he was like, hey, you want a ride? And I was like, hell yeah. Yes, I want to ride. Unfortunately, but laughably, my neighbor had a very tiny convertible that was already stuffed to the brim with his belongings because he was about to evacuate to the hospital, mind you, for shelter because obviously we're in the red zone and we gotta leave. So he was gonna stay at the hospital overnight. He was already heading down the street that I needed to go, okay? Yes, I still had my 4 luggages on me, But did we care? No, we did not. We stuffed those luggages right in that packed up convertible, that tiny little car. We put a luggage in the trunk, and then I held the rest of my luggages on my lap. That thing was crushing me the whole ride through, okay? The whole time I was being crushed by my 50-pound luggage and my other luggages that were sitting right on top of me. I couldn't even turn my head to look at him and thank him, okay? Because it was stuffed, it was packed. I'm laughing at myself the entire ride because I'm just like, this can't be my real life right now. Thank you, Lord, for saving me, but you definitely have a sense of humor. This was definitely the comedic relief in my life right now. We got to safer ground. We reached my friend's house even before they got home, which was impressive, they said. Yeah, I was in the safety zone. I was able to get to work, which was also part of the safety zone, thank God. The tsunami warning ended up getting canceled later that night. So all that stress for what? All that's wahala for what? At least now I know what to expect if there's ever another one. God forbid there is. Oh my goodness. Yeah, that was my first tsunami warning experience. Yay. My camera died at least twice now, so I'm just gonna take that as a sign that I need to go, okay? It's time to go. So thank you again, guys, for watching. This was my travel nurse experience from September 2024 leading up till now. It has definitely been a journey, as you can tell. Thanks again for watching, and always remember, natural hair grows. Don't you forget it. Okay, bye.